It is August 24th, 2020, the year that shall not be named, and this is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a Home Before Dark podcast. There it is. Right on cue, Dan. I had already popped mine open.
Well, you're more prepared than I am, Tim.
Yeah.
But, Tim, I have to mention, I am drinking a Rowdy and Proud.
Oh, is that Red Hair or Revolution?
It's Three Taverns.
Three Taverns.
Yeah.
There are too many like for somebody who doesn't drink, there are too many breweries to keep up with in Atlanta.
Oh, it's
and
ridiculous.
They just switch to more wine than beer. So yeah. Anyway, I am Tim Herb. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Mr. Dan James.
What's up? How's it going?
Bet you guys didn't catch that one.
No.
Dan, Kevin, yeah, we're flying duo tonight. The flying V is not happening tonight. Kevin is down.
I heard he just
now
sold
the speculation is going to start. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he's plastic.
He's sold his tickets.
Yeah,
for like pennies on the dollar.
I mean, when you're not a fan, I mean, any money, like it's profit, right? Anything is profit. Yeah.
I think I saw him wearing like a Miami jersey late last week.
Rodolfo Pizarro. I mean, he's a good player to get a jersey of, I think. But
absolutely, he's got nice hair. Maybe that's
very nice hair.
That's why Kevin likes him, because he's got nice hair. He just got FOMO.
Yeah. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us on a perpetually rainy evening in Atlanta, in the Atlanta metro area. If you guys are watching outside of the Atlanta metro area, that's awesome. We love you guys. Thank you guys, as always, for making time for us, especially those of you who join us live on YouTube Monday nights at 8 o'clock in the trap, as it were. Richard Gordon showing up early, Elliot Beaven, Brian. We got Grego from For the Culture. We got Brittany S. We got Gregory Fraser. Yeah, it's a good night. It feels good, Dan. It feels really good. We're coming off. It feels like a long time since we've had a podcast like this, especially with you on.
Right,
we're coming off of a victory. Like, what was the last time you got to come on and not explain why we lost?
Right, exactly, and explain why. It was. Regardless of how you feel, I felt like last night was a lot more fun. Not last night. Saturday night was a lot more fun. It was a lot more 2017 vibe that was going to it. I was excited. It was crazy, ridiculous defensive mistakes, and luckily we didn't get punished for a lot of them. But I was really. It was a fun game. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it felt like a proper season opener, right?
Yeah.
I would say like it really did. Like, and a lot of that had to do with seeing the green monster, the turf at the ends. Like that had a lot, I felt like, to do with the fact that I really did feel invested again. I think we talked about it like before we even knew any of the results, knew how it was going to happen in Orlando. The tournament felt flat. It just, I think it's because it's a lack of familiarity. It's something that we hadn't had before. It's like trying to get up for like Community Shield or like some sort of preseason tournament or friendly tournament or something like that. It felt more, if there weren't points involved, it really it would have had the same field as those sort of things. But Saturday, I felt nervous for the first time in a while. Like I didn't feel nervous at all during the MLS's back tournament. I felt really nervous on Saturday night. I felt excited. Like it was almost like it was an anxious feeling, Dan. Like I was so excited and so ready to watch this team, especially under Stephen Glass, knowing the things that he said he was kind of preaching the week before. Again, like we talked about last week. If you guys were listening last week, we went on a good bit about, or I guess it was last week. Yeah. About, the free reign. It's like Stephen Glass, you're not our manager moving forward. You're our interim manager. Just get the best out of these players. And a lot of them performed. I mean, I think what were your thoughts immediately going into the match, like an hour before, whenever the lineup sheet was announced?
I was excited. I looked at, my first reaction was, why is Robinson on the bench? Where's Barco? And I thought I was going to see Dam on the bench, but obviously not. But it's still early days. But I was nervous because if we lost, I was worried about the fan base. I was worried that we were just going to really hard throw in the towel and get on Darren Eales and Carlos Bocanegra big time. But I was really glad that we got a performance like we did, which was fun to watch. It reminded me of, I think it was when we played Dallas, when we first moved into the Benz, one of the first games in the Benz. And there was like this little intricate little passing pattern between, I think it was Assad and a few, maybe Tito was part of it, but it was like this like continuous little passing triangle, and the whole crowd was like, way, every time they passed the ball. And, you know, there was things like that after the George Bello, he nutmegged, I think it was Lille. And then
David Accam.
Oh, David Accam, sorry.
Yeah,
and
David Accam looked really stupid.
Yeah. And just knocking it around, and it felt like a new team. And there was definitely, you did feel a sense of freedom from the players. Like Pitti was all about it. Eric Rometty had a blinder. I thought George Bello played really well.
The surprise man on the, I would say the biggest surprise, to your point, the surprise man on the lineup sheet was Anton Walkes, who was maybe our best defender the whole game. Like I thought he was every bit the player that I think we got accustomed to under Tata Martino during his season on loan, when he came in and he was doing, granted, he was playing right back and he was out of position, but he looks every bit the player we thought he was going to be, bringing him back, I felt like.
Yeah, I was excited to see him do so well as a center back. It seemed to me, from when I pay attention to it, it was more of a 3-man back line. And I thought he did really well in that. He got a real soft yellow card in like the first 20 minutes.
And we could get into that too. I think that might be something do you want to just like clear that out of the way, like get to the positives, but like, let's clear out how bad Ted Unkel was during this game. Yeah. And this is coming from a fan of a team who I would say dominated for 90 minutes and was, I don't feel like ever really out of control of winning that game. And I still felt like Ted Unkel had a really, I think the problem was, and we talk about this a good bit whenever we do bring up referees, we try not to that much, but I feel like referees can play themselves into a trap. Like at the beginning, he gave Brooks Lennon the softest yellow card on his first foul, right? It was Brooks Lennon first, and that kind of set the tone. Is like Ted Unkel's like, okay, well, I guess I got to give yellows now. I made this decision. It's not like reluctantly, but he's like, okay, this is how I'm going to referee this game. Is like every soft foul. Like it was Walks' first foul. It was Brooks Lennon's first foul. Both got them yellow cards, and they're relatively soft fouls.
Yeah, I thought that too. And then it seemed to change in like the last probably 2/3 of the game that he started not giving those fouls. It was so bizarre. And it seemed like, I mean, obviously I'm a Atlanta United fan, but it felt very sort of inclined towards Nashville. I wrote down in the first 30 minutes, we had 2 yellow cards. And then Meza had a pretty slide-in tackle. I think it was on Mukhtar for a clearance. He was coming out the penalty area, he was running to get the ball. And he came down, but I think he stuck his right leg out, showing studs up a little bit. But I think he missed Mukhtar, but it didn't seem like that much of a foul. And then Kevin Egan says, we've just been told VAR's checking for a possible red card. It's like, oh my gosh, what? Just give me a break, man. It's
not only did you call that so wrong to even give it a yellow in the first place, you're reviewing it for a red. Like it has, I think it was in our buddy Payson Schwinn wrote a like kind of post-match or a post-mortem, I guess, if you want to call it that, following the match. And one of the things was, it was something I saw live, was Ryan Catanese, who used to do social media for Atlanta United. He said one of the great things about not being employed by the team anymore is I could talk about how bad MLS refs are and how they're literally holding back the progress of the league. And I thought that was so on point because, and I can't say that in the past, I don't think I really noticed any bad or poor refereeing decisions during the tournament whenever we were playing or at the beginning of the season. This game just kind of stuck out to me. And fortunately, like we had our head on our shoulders. We played really well throughout the game, I felt like, especially considering, I mean, one of the things that Dan Dan Gargan and Kevin Egan brought up during the match was like in the beginning of it, it was almost like bracing us for what we were going to watch. They're like, okay, this team hasn't played in 30 days. They're not in game shape. Nashville's played 2 games in the past week. We might see this team fade towards the end. It's like the hardest workers from the beginning of the game were the hardest workers towards the end of the game. It was fantastic all around. And it was just I just feel so much joy in my heart right now.
Even after Pity's first goal, as soon as the kickoff, the United were on them. They were hungry, so hungry for a next goal. And they just went, almost got a second. I think we got pretty close. But it was great to just see that energy again, because we hadn't seen that energy, regardless of what you think about Frank de Boer. Still think his tenure was a success, but it was noticeably different. And I think the players, I was happier watching it, even though I think defensively we got lucky a fair few times. There was a couple of times where we kind of got stuck out. We left a centre back on an island, but we managed to swarm back to get back into more of a defensive shape to shut it down. So that was great.
I felt like if we were facing a bigger threat one-on-one than Dominic Baggio, I think Abu Danladi even had a chance at the end or towards the end of the game. I felt like those guys, if they were a more seasoned, or
if it was Carlos Vela.
Right. If it was Carlos Vela, we would have given up a couple goals. You're right. I mean, we were caught out of position. We were lucky. And not to say that, that Abu Danladi or, Dominic Baggio are slouches, because they're not. Mm-hmm. They're MLS caliber strikers, forwards. But, we got lucky. But at the same time, I felt like we controlled the game and we kind of controlled the pace and the flow, and we took it to their team. I mean, we neutralized the only threat that we had from them back in March, whenever we played, was the goal we gave up on a set piece to Walker Zimmerman. And he was, neutralized in these, in the set pieces that we did have to defend against. And kudos to the team. I mean, who sticks out to you? I mean, I guess we can go through the trap real quick. We're kind of ignoring a lot of this, but
just had to get it out, Tim. Had to get it out.
Had to get it out. Let's see. Glassy, Clayton Poss says Glassy, first Atlanta United coach to win in his first ever game in MLS. Tata loses to Red Bulls. Frank de Boer loses to DC, or did he lose to Columbus? It's one of those games in a sloppy, like sludgy pitch. Anyway,
I'm gonna have to check that. Did he actually lose his first game?
I don't. I thought so.
Just go on, Tim. Go on. I'll catch up.
I thought so. Let's see. Chris Berry saying that Lennon was a star. I thought Brooks Lennon was good out there on Saturday also.
Mm-hmm. I thought he was good. He was. He just had that one really weak shot that was straight at the keeper.
That's the second chance you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right after Petey's goal. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it was he just directed it. Like, he redirected the ball. It didn't really put any pace or anything on it. He just kind of touched it there. Greg, for the culture, saying Bello and walks were money. I absolutely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Elliot Bevan saying Bello's going to Europe in the future. Greg Fraser with a call out here, which I thought was interesting, and I'd be interested to go back and watch the game if we didn't have another 2 games coming up this week. But Greg saying Bello, Walks, and Petey were great. I think that's something we haven't talked about enough yet, and I know we're only 15 minutes in, but Petey Martinez was every bit the player that we needed him to be on Saturday, and every bit that he was touted to be. Let's see it again on Wednesday. Let's see it again on Saturday.
Absolutely.
And then Greg Fraser saying Rob Usry from Dirty South Soccer said Joseto had a low-key good game on rewatch, and a few friends said the same thing. I thought he didn't put a foot wrong. I thought he did a good job in keeping possession whenever he got the ball and kind of creating space. And not to say that, and he might be this type of player, not to say that he's Roberto Firmino, but like the type of player that's not readily apparent just how much of a big of an impact he's having on the game whenever you're watching it.
Kind of just like Nagby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was Rossetto was interesting because I know the graphic lineups don't mean that, but he was shown up as a striker up with Jan, but he played really pretty deep, but he would stretch the field, and I feel like him and Heinemann need to make sure they're wearing different colored cleats, because I feel like I lost him and Heinemann at the same point in time.
It's like I would have to I would look to the side and see, it's like, is that number 9 or is that number 20? Right. Like I can't tell who's touching the ball. They have very similar gaits and strides, I feel like.
They do, and they're very similar haircuts from a ways away. But no, I thought I was pretty impressed with Rossetto. He held it together. He was an outlet for the defenders. He was an outlet for Remedi when Remedi needed support. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what he does moving forward. I did not think that he was going to be more of a deep lying midfielder. I thought he was actually going to be further up in attack, but it's one game. We'll see. Yeah. See where we go.
Our buddy Keith Filer saying loved Remedi sitting deeper to allow the other midfielders freedom to go forward, especially Rossetto. And would you say the midfield is almost like I wouldn't say like straight up, but like you essentially have Remedi and then Rossetto and then Heinemann. Like they were almost staggered in the midfield like that.
Yeah, it kind of seemed that way. It was more central. It was nice because we were either Nashville just didn't press us through the middle very, very, very well, that we were able to have a lot of movement through the center, which we didn't really see in Orlando. A lot of the frustrating games are for us when we get the midfield taken away from us and we don't exert ourselves enough. So it did very feel that way, Tim, like that progression of Remedi, Rossetto, and Heinemann. But then they would both get up. I think Heinemann more. So it was great to see. I thought they really did boss that midfield, and Remedi stepped up as a leader. I mean, it was really great to see. It's like when was it Baji or was pushing Bello, or did he stand on him or something on the sideline? And Remedi was like the first one in there, telling him, "Don't mess with Barker with Bello. Come mess with me." And then he's like, "Oh,
no, exactly.
I'll leave it alone."
He almost it was almost reminiscent of LGP with a little less hot-headedness, the way that he was coming in and defending his teammates. And there was like a leadership, like a tinge of leadership, maybe more than a tinge, but from Eric Remedi on Saturday night. It was one of his more consistent performances that we've seen from him when he's not been paired with Lorenowitz or with Nagbe. Like I felt like he played really well. I think he stood out for the first time I could think of in a while. And I mean, Elliot Bevan says it great. I mean, he played great in this game with the assist to Petey. I'm just looking forward to seeing more of that. But we're going to find out, like, when Barco gets reintroduced, what does that do to shake up this lineup? Like, what are we going to be looking at? Because, I mean, if Saturday night was an audition of sorts for Stephen Glass, like, who do you take out outside of Adam John? I think that was the one thing we're seeing in the trap is, Greg Fraser asks, he's like, does John even get a sniff at the field again after alluding to what, Kubo Torres's impact whenever he came on in whatever it was, 60th minute, somewhere around there. And
I think it was the 80th minute.
Oh, it was the 80th.
Torres came in. Yeah. I thought it was really late.
It seemed like it was earlier because, again, like he had so much more of an impact that Adam John did. I mean, that wasn't a game for Adam John, I don't feel like, but then again, I feel like the positives that we've seen from him are kind of, I don't know if they're anomalies at this point. It's hard to tell if like the good games that we've seen from Adam John, where he's had a lot of touches or helped control the ball, has been, his normal style of play or not.
Yeah, it seems like Jan was, I think he was a little bit more underrated that game. I mean, he did what he did enough to just kind of harass the defenders as much as he could, but he was never going to be like a real threat. He was more of a a body that you have to pay attention to. But I mean, he wasn't going to be a gravity well, as we like to talk about with Joseph and that. So, but it was interesting. I can't wait to see Torres 100% fit and be able to actually play a ball where he means to play the ball.
Hey, it still resulted in a goal. Like that's all that really matters. It
Absolutely.
Really, if he stutter steps on that one chance that he has, he probably puts it in the back of the net too. I mean, it's really about, I think, getting back into a rhythm. Man, I don't want to get too excited because you don't know. Because I mean, to your point, it was 15 minutes worth of play probably after stoppage time, but man, he looked very much. A lot better than I think a lot of people were expecting whenever we signed him. Granted, Twitter is like the negative 2% of the population, like that all congregate. But it's, I saw a lot of negative response to the signing of Cubo Torres. But man, when you have the restrictions of that the front office has in MLS, and if you could pick up a guy and have him rebound on this team, they brought up on the broadcast, he's only 27. I was like, man, it's like, I can't believe he's still that young. Like that's Joseph's age, right? Or maybe Joseph's a couple of years, or maybe Joseph might be a year younger.
Maybe 26 or something. But yeah, absolutely. I have the trust of the front office. I feel like the front office make the best decisions with the options they actually have. I felt like Torres was the only option that we were going to have because he's got a green card, he's going to be undervalued, and he's going to have a ton of experience with what we needed. It's like you're not going to try and get a Josh Sargent because he doesn't have as much experience, and he's more on the. I mean, what is he? 90 pounds, like soaking wet. He's pretty lanky, Josh Sargent. But I think that's what you want with Torres. I'm not saying he's a success. I just feel like he is what we had. Just like I think the hiring of Frank de Boer was the best option that the front office saw when he was hired. Man, I've been going on a lot about Frank de Boer this pod.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, we have to stick within the bounds of what we're allowed in MLS and the salary restrictions. Otherwise, we would be the Man City of MLS. Like let's face it, like we would be one of the higher spending teams, if not the highest spending. And
I can't wait till that happens, Tim. I can't wait.
Take the restrictions off. Yeah. Take off the restrictor plate. Yeah, I mean, and Greg says, he said, I didn't understand the hate on Kubo. He's a proven product in MLS, far more proven than John or Romario Williams. So, I mean, he's probably the best backup striker from if you don't count Tito, but like he's probably the best backup striker performance-wise or historically that we've had on this team. And hopefully what we saw on Saturday night were just shades of what we'll see in the future, but I guess that remains to be seen. We did see a couple other substitutions come in, Dan. To your point, Miles Robinson was forced to come on. Keith Filer brought up the point that we're going to have to see a lot of rotation. What do we have, 6 games in 2 weeks or something like that is what the schedule has.
Yes, we do.
One of the things that sucks, though, and silver lining here, it shows how deep we are at center back, but at the same time, we're left exposed right now because I don't know if I've heard any sort of indication, good or bad, that of the injury, the knock that Fernando Meza took on Saturday night.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either. I was trying to search around before we came on tonight, but I couldn't find anything. Yeah. I don't know if any of the people in the trap have know of an update, any insider information.
Yeah, I have no idea. Will Bowron, new father, Will Bowron, saying, I'll just remind everyone that we could have gotten BWP on a free. We could have.
Mm-hmm.
We could have. But that said, his salary cap hit would probably have been too high. He's got to be still making a good bit of money.
I imagine so.
He's LAFC's 5th DP. So it's like Galaxy get 4, LAFC get 5, right?
Right. That makes sense. Well, because they lost to the Galaxy, so they need to even up the
Yep.
Giving it all up.
They have to tip the scale back the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Miles Robinson comes in. Fernando Meza gets hurt. I don't know. It was a non-contact knee injury, it seemed like, which is does not bode well for the player. Non-contact injuries usually end up being pretty bad.
He did walk off under his own steam, and it didn't look like he was limping. But
I think there are certain ligaments, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if Patrick Keenum, our buddy, the doctor, is watching or listening, but like, I'm pretty sure you can, with like, if he tore his, let's say worst case scenario, tore his ACL, I think you could still walk off under your own power. I think it's the lateral movement that really gets killed. Like some of those ligaments, I think you can walk straight, but you could put a little bit of, you could put weight on it, but you can't go left or right.
Right. That I think that rings a bell.
Yeah,
Joseph, that's right.
Patrick Hansel said
did walk off
Joseph
too.
walked off too. Yeah.
Yeah, but Meza didn't sit on the billboard. The sponsorship boards started crying. So hopefully, I'm just trying to put good vibes out there. That's all I'm trying to do.
I hope so. And that said, we do have, I don't remember the last time we watched him play, but I mean, he played in preseason way back when. Preseason seems like years ago. But George Campbell, I don't know if he made he didn't make the team sheet, I don't think, on Saturday, but I mean, we do have size and, and a pretty decent backup center back in him that, could go out there under a pinch, I think, or in a pinch. Uh-oh.
No.
Please.
Sorry.
Everything all right?
I say, I need an hour or two to do a podcast. I've got everything set up. Can you just go watch TV for a little while? And then they're like, watch TV until 8:30. But it come down 8:30. It's like, can we watch it till 9 o'clock? And I'm like, I'm doing my podcast, so I can't really tell you no, can I?
Yeah. One thing that did come out today, which I thought was interesting, and Patrick Hansel brings up, he said they didn't give a full update on any of the injuries. He said Glass wouldn't disclose them. They're still trying to determine if Meza will be available Wednesday. So I guess it isn't all that bad. I hope so. Somebody, as much as I hate the Patriots, somebody likened the way Stephen Glass was handling the press conference to the way Bill Belichick handles press conferences, where if he's asked about an injury, he got asked about why. He's like, is there any reason, or can you tell us the reason that Ezekiel Barco didn't play on Saturday? He just said no. Like, just one word, 2 letters, no. He just would not disclose any of the stuff, which I thought was
I'm fine with that. That doesn't
very
bother
interesting. Wait, so hold on. Chiefs coach Steve said, did I already miss the lively conversation about Escobar's retro red? He got a retro red card? Did I miss something?
I didn't see that.
I am very confused.
I think we need more information.
Yeah. I need more information, Coach Steve. I need way more information. Dan, what do you get the boys watching right now? Like, what's good? What do kids watch these days? They watching Ninja Turtles, or they watching Clone Wars? They watching?
I mean, that would be cool if they were watching that, but no, they watch Fuller House, which is the new Full House. Sam and Kath with like Ariana Grande was in it, and what's the other? Oh, Roll With It. That's another one. Roll With It.
Oh boy. Oh,
it's terrible. It's awful. And I was like, hey, the old Thundercats that I used to watch when I was growing up, the Thundercats cartoon came down on Hulu. Do you want to watch it with me? And they're like, maybe.
Are they just out of the cartoon phase? They just only watch Disney live?
Yeah, I think so right now. Well, it's like my older one will watch what he wants to watch, and then the younger one's just like, yeah, okay, I'll watch it.
Okay. So just announced tonight. So, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. He said he got suspended for the next game.
Yeah. Doug Robertson.
Yeah. I said when he kicked Baji. I don't think I caught that. Yeah. Coach Steve said the disciplinary committee handed out a 1-game suspension for Escobar's leg swipe. Yeah. I mean, and then Will Bauron, saying, what about that guy that tried to tackle Bello for the ball? Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even get a card for it. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I give a red to a ref. Exactly, Elliot Beaven. I give a red to that ref. Absolutely.
Okay, so are we going to see my least favorite deployment in the back? And not because I don't like him, because I think he's serviceable in midfield, and I thought he did well on Saturday. But are we going to see Mo Adams in the backfield, or are we going to see a restructuring?
I think you go 4 in the back, and you just put Lennon back there instead.
And that makes room. That ends up making room for Barco, right? I mean, because you have Walks and Meza, or Walks and Miles Robinson in the middle, Bello on the left, Brooks Lennon on the right, and then you have a midfield of Heineman, Remedi, and Joseto again, and then Petey and Barco, and then
do like a 4-3-3.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. So talking about Escobar, it was interesting how on the right side of the field, Escobar and Lennon would basically just overlap up and down the wing. And then it seemed like we would account for Bello going forward more. It seemed like every time Bello would be going forward, we'd shift over and have more of like 3 at the back. And then when Bello would come back, not as often as he was doing, but his defensive work coming back was pretty good. It seemed like he was really working hard to work that out. But it was interesting how it was more of just Bello and Petty on the left who were more higher up, and then Escobar and Leonard would overlap on the right. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, it gives you a little versatility too, right? And it gives you some sort of, not surprise, but like keeps the defense, or keeps the opposing team on their toes too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So somebody pointing out that, okay, so Will Barron says no Meza, no Escobar, no Robinson for the next match, which apparently people think that Miles Robinson maybe isn't going to be playing on Wednesday because of the short week and him not being in fitness or full fitness. But
he might not have a choice.
And then he brings up, puts his tinfoil hat on, Will Bauer on again. He said, I doubt Barco's back for the next game. They're going to be super cagey about his quote unquote injury. Dan, I think our buddy Christian Mills responded to to a tweet about Stephen Glass's response about Barco, and called it transferitis. Like, that's what his injury is.
Oh, really?
Do people really think, like in the trap, do you guys really think that we're going to be seeing Barco on his way out already without playing in the past month?
I would be shocked.
I'd be shocked. Unless much to Kevin's chagrin, we get 30 million. For Barco.
It's the only way he goes.
Kevin and I were texting the other day, and completely unrelated. He's like, I still don't think we get. He said like this, and this, and I still don't think we get 30 million for Barco. Like, okay.
Well, we won't now, but potentially in a year or so we could. Interesting. Wow. Well, I hope. But that's the thing. If Barco's not there, I feel like we have the bodies to put it back together for a lineup. I mean, if we're really worried about injury, I mean, Torres probably doesn't start again. We start Jan. In fact, going back to the last lineup, it's probably the same setup, but just oh wow, we're looking thin at CB if Meza, Robinson, and Escobar are out. So It's Walks basically on his own.
He can do it.
He can do it.
Yeah, and Keith saying Campbell and on the back line. I think that's if we're going to see that complete depletion of the roster at center back, I think we have to see George Campbell Lawrence Wyke maybe coming in from the twos.
Yeah, well, he's on our roster, so Lawrence Wyke could come in. I'm trying to sketch out a lineup here just on what we could do. But yeah, we've got Lawrence Wyke at center back. We've got Campbell. Everybody else is out apart from Walks. So Walks would have to slot in there. And then we talked about Lennon. And then
There's always the opportunity for John Gallagher to come in and play like on the fullback spots, not at center back, but maybe move. Then again, I mean, Bello and Lennon are too small to be playing at center back, so it's not like you can even shift them in. Lorenowitz, maybe you can maybe see Jeff play at a center back position if we need him.
Yeah, well, you could put Hyman, Rometty, and Rossetto in the middle, and then maybe Castro and Jan go up top. Oh, it's 4-3-3, so then it's Pity, Rossetto, and Jan up top.
Well, we need to get for you is one of those smart boards that they have, Dan, so you could just telestrate on the screen. You could do a beautiful mind thing.
So what I'm thinking is, I can't even see it. So yeah, I'd go Bello, Walks, Campbell, Lennon as a back four, and then you've got Hyman, Rometty, and Rossetto in the middle, and then Pity, Jan, and Castro up top in a 4-3-3.
Really? You think Adam John gets to start again?
I do, because if Torres only came on for 10 minutes and someone in the trap saying, yeah, we've only got a few days to recover, I think you could see Jan starting and then Torres coming in. But I think you could see Dam coming in as well on the right wing.
But if you see Dam come in, could you potentially see Rossetto moved up to play a false 9 in front of that and bring Adam John out of the game?
I think so. You could, but part of me feels like a false 9 is just too cute right now. It's a little bit more difficult to play. So I think Stephen Glass just wants to keep it a little bit more simple. So
you don't speak for him.
No, I mean, absolutely not. That's why I'm sat in my basement doing a podcast and he's the interim manager of Atlanta United.
Yep, that's for sure. That's 100% correct.
Brittany S, play JJ Williams. Brittany S, I love you, but please, I just don't think we can play JJ Williams.
Is he back from suspension yet?
I don't know.
I guess
you mean just the self-imposed club suspension that they put on him?
No, I thought he got a red card at the end of the.
Yeah, no. I'm saying the club still suspended him just out of being silly like that.
Oh, gotcha.
We've also got Mulroney. He's pretty fast. You can throw him out on the left.
Yeah, put him anywhere. Just put him on the field. Just let him run. Let him run straight up the middle.
Right. He's got the speed, hasn't he? So he's.
We just play high school soccer, so you can have Rometty just boot it over the defense, let Mulroney run, and see if you can get on the end of it behind the defense. Yeah.
I know. Maybe it's because I haven't seen enough of Mulroney. I don't know. After his display in Orlando, and even though the team was just bad in general, I don't know. I'm not fully trusting Mulroney right now. But,
it's because of 2 boneheaded yellow cards. Is that the reason you're not trusting him? Because I think that'd be a pretty good reason not to trust him.
Yeah, and I just don't remember. I mean, maybe it's just been too long and I'm getting old, but I don't remember him having a really great game or anything in the past since he's been.
He's had a few not great games, but I feel like he's had a few standout moments. I felt like it was maybe against Cincinnati in the beginning of the season.
Because he wasn't even on the bench, was he?
On Saturday, he was.
Oh, he was on the bench?
Yeah, I'll give you that. And Keith Filer pointed out that if Wyke is not with the senior team right now, he might not be able to get called up so quickly. He was not in.
He is. He's in the supplemental spot. Is Lawrence Wyke, so you can bring him in.
So the subs on Saturday were Jeff, Edgar Castillo, Kubo Torres, Alec Kinn, Jake Mulroney, Miles Robinson, John Gallagher, Mo Adams, and Manuel Castro.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so I guess Mulroney could slot in on the left if you played a 4-3-3.
Yeah, but I don't know that you really need him to, right? I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on whether or not we see Jurgen Damm play. If he gets, again, I don't know if his was, I would imagine, is a fitness thing and not a work permit thing, right?
That's what I'm assuming. Yeah, because he's in.
Yeah, he's in the States. He's been training with the team, so he has to have a work permit, right?
Yeah, I'm always going to put Damm up top. I'm not gonna put him in the middle. I just don't know much about him. He seems like more of a slashing winger that's going to use his speed over technique potentially. So if I'm going to play him in like a 3-man midfield, I really want him to have someone with a little bit more technical ability. So, yeah, maybe a Mo Adams, Heinemann, Remedi trio in the middle of a 4-3-3 would be the way we'd want to go. And then Pitty, Jan, Rossetto up top and sub out Rossetto with... in fact, I don't even know. Rossetto just doesn't seem to fit. That's not where he played most of the game. I think Rossetto's more of a deeper player based on that one game that we've seen. So, because I'm just looking down the on transfer market on a squad, and I feel like I'm going to be putting, easily Dom up there, but he's probably going to be a sub, or you're going to be putting someone like. I mean, I just paused for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
And still can't find anyone. So there we go.
Yeah. Well, the one man we have not really talked about enough, I don't think, especially all things considered this season and even last, Gonzalo Martinez or Golasso P.D. Martinez, who played outstandingly well on Saturday night, was, we talked about Remedi being kind of the leader in the midfield and in ways the defense too on Saturday. I mean, I felt like PD was every bit that for the attacking portion of the team. And I thought that he played really well. He linked up really well with everybody, worked his socks off. And, he played for the full 90. I mean, that's the other thing. Like he ran his socks off for 90 plus minutes and he looked fantastic. He looked every bit the player that I want to see him be.
That's what we want to see, right? That was the P.D. Martinez that we paid all that money for. So
that's South American Player of the Year.
That's right. That is what I am hoping that we see for the rest of these games. Being like he seemed more of a leader on the field. Maybe that was just because he was getting his confidence back. He's comfortable now, and getting to really put his stamp on the team. I'm hoping that he can. Yeah, I just want to see more of it. I want to see that against a bunkering Cincinnati team. I want to see that against the Seattle Sounders. I want to see it obviously against Inter Miami. I think he's going to have a good game against Inter Miami because they want to play.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Wednesday night we got to turn around and go down to Miami and play against an upstart team in Inter Miami, and got their first. Was that their first regular season win?
It was
on Saturday.
Yeah, 3-2 against Orlando.
Yeah, I think it was Percy Herrera posted something to the effect of Atlanta United wins, Orlando City loses, the world is healing. It is time. Things are right in the world again.
Yeah, I saw there's a good 7-minute highlight on that game that's worth watching. You wonder, is it just LGP being more solid at the back, or is it Orlando just thinking too much and maybe having a little bit too much confidence than they thought? Because that's not the first time they played into Miami. No, it isn't at all. So it's going to be interesting to.
They had Breck Shea,
Mikey Ambrose.
Yeah, Ambrose
and
LGP all played for Inter Miami on Saturday night, which is pretty fantastic. Just goes to show how good our front office is, right? The guys, we let go of guys and they're first teamers and subs for other teams. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited about that. I mean, you bring up that point. I think we've seen that for pretty much in every Miami game that I've watched at least bits and pieces of, between the beginning of the season, the restart, what have you, is they like to play. And that's going to be, I would, knowing LGP, let's see if we can get into his head. Let's see if we can get him to make one of those mistakes, catch him out. I don't know.
I think we can get him sent off pretty easily.
Just have Petey go up to him and just be like, Frank DeBoer was right about you.
Yeah.
Because of fight between all of them. Yeah.
That would be kind of awesome if they were coming to, when they come to the Bends, you know how the supporters section had all the flags laid out? Maybe they could just put a whole bunch of Frank DeBoer heads or something around there. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great. No, but this would, for a team that we saw our team on Saturday night play pretty fluid, play pretty attacking. Getting to see that I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth. I think it's going to be a fast game on Wednesday. I think teams, especially down in Miami, depending on the weather, if it's as hot and muggy as Florida usually is in August, both teams are going to use all 5 subs, I bet. And then, it's going to be interesting. I think there are going to be some goals given up, maybe not due to exhaustion, but you're going to see I think you're going to see some mistakes due to exhaustion, especially coming back from the restart. Both of these teams not having played like Nashville did to get those kind of warm up games under their belt before this like mini tournament, whatever you want to call it. But.
Right. I don't think we keep a clean sheet against them. With the way Carranza and Pizarro were playing, and the chances that we gave Nashville on our defense. I'd be really shocked if we managed to clean sheet him.
Yeah, like if you put Pizarro in Dominic Baggio's place on Saturday night,
yeah, exactly.
He would have probably gotten away from the defense on that one-on-one with walks and put it in the back of the net. Like that's definitely something we got to shore up with our defense. I think
it'd be a great game for Miles Robinson to be there for.
Yeah, I mean you're talking about the best one-on-one defender in the league.
Yeah,
got him. Yeah, I hope. I know you don't really get that much. Yeah, I know you really don't get that much fitness in 3 days' time, especially with a travel day in there. But man, hopefully soon.
A Bello, Walks, Campbell, Lennon back line really makes me nervous. Yeah. I mean, I know Walks had a great game, but I don't know, man. You may want to put 2 CDMs in there.
Yeah, that's probably, do it anchoring, 2. You would almost play like a 4-2-1-3. Like, is that what you were thinking? Like a 4, yeah. Like you would have those 4 in the back, maybe have Rometty and Mo Adams in front of them, have Joseto in front of them, and then PD, John, and who would you even play on the right side?
On the right, I'd put Rossetto in there, but that's a little bone of contention to put Heineman up there. Maybe you play them with pulled back a little bit. Because, I mean, he wanted to be more of an attacking.
That's true. That's fair. I don't know if I see him that advanced, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe we see the phallic formation. We see a 4-2-2-2. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you could throw John Gallagher. I don't know. It's like, damn, John Gallagher. Man, hopefully Barco is ready to go. It seems like we're getting pretty thin already. I feel like, but we've had this problem the last few years is center back depth. And now if any of these guys go down, well, I guess Escobar will be back the next game, but you really want to be kind of careful. Man, this is making me a little bit more nervous about my Inter Miami.
Yeah, but if there's a team that we have to figure it out against, this team is probably not the worst team to be doing it against. You're talking about a team that does give up goals. They play at you. I mean, they're not the best team. I think they're probably the worst team in this bucket of players bucket of teams that we're pitted against.
Like an LAFC light.
What? Just that they give up goals?
Yeah. I mean, they've got some decent attacking options. They've still got, an open DP slot, but and then
who are their DPs? Pizarro and Carranza? Is that the 2?
I don't know if Carranza's one of them.
Maybe
Hold on one sec.
Oh, damn it. I've sent Dan down a rabbit hole, but I do think that if there were a 3-game stretch where we need to figure it out, Nashville, Miami, and Orlando City, I think are 3 good teams to be figuring it out against. I mean, Orlando City, again, all's right with the world. The way that they were down, what, 3, was it 3-0 or 3-1 before getting the second goal?
I think it's
against
Pellegrini.
Miami. Oh, gotcha. But they were, I mean, Orlando looked every bit the team they were before the break and before the tournament down in Orlando. And I don't know. Maybe they got brought down to earth a little bit after that final.
Well, it seemed they lived and died with Nani. I mean, depending on his attitude was kind of the way they would play the game, because unless Chris Mueller can have, you know, a second awakening, because he started off the season well, but then kind of tapered off in the as the tournament went on. So we shall see.
Yeah. What are you thinking Wednesday? What are you thinking result-wise on Wednesday? Are you feeling okay about? I know you said you're feeling worse now about going into Wednesday, but knowing what you saw on Saturday night, knowing the limitations or maybe the weaknesses or some of the performances that we've seen out of Miami in their first year, does that give you a little bit of confidence or a little more confidence going into Wednesday?
It does. I feel like we could. I feel like it's going to be like a 2-2, something like that. We'll give up some silly defensive mistakes.
What did you have us going point wise in this stretch?
I think I said 12-15, so I was hedging my bets a little bit.
Yeah, I think I said 15 as well. I may be wrong. We have to go back. If I don't know if Kevin usually keeps those notes, and he's not here. So,
Kevin, what's he know?
I feel pretty good. I think that 2-2 call out's probably not a bad one for Wednesday, especially knowing some of the knowing that Franco Escobar got a retroactive red card is so stupid. But
it's like, come on.
Yeah. But going into Wednesday without him is going to be a little difficult. That said, like you were saying, I think we do have the option of switching to a 4-back. I think that seems to be the logical next step to do on Wednesday, is to switch to a traditional four-man backfield. And I think would be all right. I mean, I guess it really just depends on whether or not we see Miles Robinson play. Even if it's just for a half.
Gregory Fraser has a good point, and I didn't think about this, but if you play Larry in defensive midfield, he can drop in as a CB if Bello or Lennon go forward. Because we saw Remedi doing that on Saturday, but, you know, we started Jeff as a CB a couple of games back in 2017. I didn't like it when we did that, but it's an option, and he's going to be a veteran presence.
Yeah,
especially if you're playing all those young guys.
He does better in coverage as a defensive midfielder coming back. And I think positionally he's pretty sound in that regard. It's whenever I think you put him as one of the sole anchors of that back line where it becomes a little harder. Like, you lose some of the benefits that you have from him a little further upfield. He can't get that far up and be covered behind the attacking midfield. And, you know,
he likes to have a guy behind him.
Yeah. And I've seen him have some positional lapses that have led to giving up goals whenever he's had to drop back, or even wherever he's playing on that back line. I think that kind of that same, it's detrimental to his play the same way that it is to Larry's or Jeff Lorenowitz's whenever you put him solely on that back line in a solely defensive position. I don't know. I would probably take Lorenowitz and Remedi over Mo Adams, but I don't know what to expect. I mean, we saw Lorenowitz come in the second half. I don't know what his fitness is like. I don't think his fitness is ever anything that I've been questioning, but, you know, in the past 4 years, we've always heard, oh, well, you know, he's not going to be able to start every game. He's not going to be able to play 90 minutes, but every time we've seen him out there, I've never actually had that thought in my head, like, yeah, man, we need to get him out of the game. Like, he's always one of the more fit players on the field. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what that anchor looks like in front. To your point, if we play two defensive midfielders in front of that back four, especially if you have two guys that are a little less seasoned, and let's say we have to deploy George Campbell at center back against Miami, and right next to Anton Walks, Walks has been, Walks was fantastic on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Did give up that one mistake. And if he doesn't have an anchor center back, or if he doesn't have a seasoned center back next to him, the likes of Fernando Meza, the likes of Miles Robinson, is George Campbell, like when the onus is put on Anton Walks to be the anchor on that back line on Wednesday, what do you expect to see out of that?
Yeah, if I think that Walks is just he's got a lot more experience now. Hopefully he can be that guy. I mean, he's going to be, it was like him and Meza who would stay back. So I'm automatically equating that to Parkhurst and LGP, who would basically be the guys who would stay back. So Walks is going to have to be the commanding presence on that back line. So if you stick him in there and maybe play, you can play Campbell a little bit more forward as like the LGP role, and then put Walks in more of that Parkhurst role that we've had between the two CB pairings. But I feel like Remedi, based on his performance on Saturday, needs to be playing a lot deeper in front of those two guys just to help clear up all these counterattacking plays that Miami can. I mean, they can really burst on you.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. It's
man, what the heck, Will? This is like this. I came in all excited, and now I'm kind of like fretting about our CB depth.
Yeah, I don't know. How are you guys feeling in the trap going into Wednesday? Like, score prediction wise, feeling wise, like, are you feeling good after Saturday night? I know we want to stick to positives, especially, but don't want to get ahead of ourselves at the same time. We know this is an audition. This isn't an audition for Stephen Glass, but it is an audition for, 18 players on this team. I mean, Kevin Bradley in the trap saying, how's Barco going to be worth $30 million if he isn't getting play time? I don't know. Say it to my face. That's
Say it to my face, Kevin. Keyboard warrior Kevin Bradley over there.
We got a keyboard warrior. Can't even show up. Just disrespectful. Just absolutely disrespectful coming in. That's my Barco. That's my little boat.
That's my little boat, who in potentially a year and a half could be worth 30 million. Yeah. Not right now.
Brittany S saying, just get out alive with the draw. My anxiety is going to be high Wednesday. Agreed. Mm-hmm. And isn't that a good feeling to have that anxiety back? Like, to feel like, I know we were playing for points whenever we were in Orlando, but just to feel again like something's on the line again.
Either way, it's going to be exciting, right? I mean, that's what I'm looking for. It's going to be an exciting game. It's not going to be, I don't think we did that many sideways passes in the final third that can really get you irritated. It was a bit more direct.
There was one of those. Like, I think Guzan was really late getting it out to I can't remember who it was, but I was.
Oh yeah. Well, that was playing out the back, but like when we're up against a defense and we're just passing it sideways
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for recycling the ball. I want to stay in possession, but there seemed to be a bit more decision making going on, which is what I want.
Joe Johnstone saying 3-2 Atlanta, LGP red card.
Great.
Garza 2.0. I don't get the reference to Garza 2.0, but Gregory Fraser saying, I think we could throw out a Bello, Walks, Campbell, Lennon back line with Larry and Remedi at center defensive mid and still have enough firepower up front to win.
Yeah. I mean, that's
probably playing more for a draw at that point, or control of the game, I think, than I don't know.
Yeah, that back line really worries me. Though, I mean, you're going to have at least we're going to have strength on the wings. We are going to have strength on the wings.
Sure.
and in the midfield, if we can play like we did against Nashville, it's just going to be. I'm going to be really concerned about a counterattack.
Yeah, no, I could see that, especially if somebody dangerous. Whenever you got Carranza and Pizarro attacking you on those, I don't know. It does make me a little uneasy, but I still feel pretty positive going into the game, even if we don't get the win. I want to see a result from the team, whether we get points out of it or not. Like, I want to see this team grow and get better. Elliot Beaven says Atlanta wins 4-0. Coach Steve, 1-1 prediction against Inter. Love the match against Nashville. Brian, in reference to Barco, saying maybe the check's already in the mail and they're keeping him safe, so the transfer goes through clean. That's an interesting take on it. Keith Filer, real nervous for the back line. Draw a 2-2 or maybe eke out a 3-2 win. Michelle, 3-1 Atlanta United.
That would be awesome.
Let's see. Yeah, Michelle thinks they score first. It'd be interesting.
Joe Johnston Barco hopefully isn't Gaza 2.0 with knocks and injuries.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, and what about Orlando? We're not going to record again until Monday night, so we have 2 games coming up.
They've got Orlando on Saturday.
We have Orlando back at the Benz. We got to go down to Miami on Wednesday. I think the team probably travels tomorrow if they didn't already travel today.
Right. Interesting. I'm just looking at Orlando's lineup. Galease, their octopus keeper, did not have a great game. Dyke, their striker, he's a big lad, but I'm wondering if we can contain him with pace. And then the Pereira, I thought he played relatively good in 1 or 2 of the games back in the MLS's back tournament. So I'd be curious if their front 3 to 4 with Mendez and Nani in there too, but behind them, I'm not sure they have that much depth. So, and I think, if you can shut down Nani, a lot of the team can kind of go along with that. So
do we see an old school deployment of Eric Rometti? Just mark out Nani, like just go do a job, go mark out Nani, and we'll let the rest of the team just kind of do its thing.
Yeah, I hope so. I feel now we've had this conversation, I feel maybe more quietly confident against Orlando. If we beat Inter Miami, I'm going to be all about thrashing the pants off Orlando.
Yeah.
Not that I'm about that anyway, but I'd be more confident in that actually happening.
No, I think that's fair. I don't know. So you were 2-2 Inter?
I'm going to be 2-2, yeah.
I'll stick with that too. I think 2-2 for Wednesday night. Kevin's calling out Mueller as the workhorse on that team in Orlando. But it really comes down to, he could work his socks off, but can he put in the same type of performance he did early on, as Dan alluded to, early on in the tournament in Orlando? But
yeah, he came on as a sub. I'm trying to see what minute he came in. I think it's towards the later of the game. But he got an assist. So we'll see where he he's been decent. He hasn't been as great recently. But yeah, he's definitely a guy you want to. He's almost like Orlando's Julian Gressel out of the draft.
Yeah. Brittany S 3-1 Atlanta on Saturday. LA Beaven 3-2 Atlanta on Saturday. Yeah, I don't. I like that 3-1 scoreline though. I think that we get the win. I feel pretty confident against Orlando. I think the team, though they played well throughout the tournament, I don't know that. I don't know after what happened on Saturday if that was an aberration or if that's probably more par for the course for them.
Yeah, it's tough after. That was a heartbreaking loss for them against Portland. Being 1-0 up and then going, that was real tough for them because they played so well and there was so much energy behind them. And to be honest, it's been the first time they've been playing with this group of players well in a long time. I think the last time they played well was the start of the 2017 season with Carl Laren before he got arrested in the DUI, and then they fell apart. So Maybe they'll have figured it out by then.
Yeah. Hopefully Pareja can put his finger in the dike to stop the leaking, right? No? Because of their player, their striker.
Right.
Michelle, 2-1 Atlanta. I'm going to go with a 3-1. What do you have for Saturday, Dan?
I'm going to go 2-1 for Saturday against Orlando. Yeah.
All right. Any other closing thoughts? Kevin says the short turnaround with injuries with little info is what has him worried this week. I think that's a fair worry to have.
Mm-hmm. But, it's perspective, right? We don't know. They could be fine. Barker could be fine.
You have no idea. Yeah.
You have no idea.
I have absolutely no idea. All right. Well, thank you guys, as always, for tuning in, whether you're watching us on YouTube live in the trap. Subscribe to us, hit the notification bell icon, smash the like button, tell your friends. We do this for you guys. We like to have a community show. You guys are, kind of the lifeblood of this thing. If you guys are listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher, all that good stuff, leave us a rating and or a review. We will read it live on the show. Dan, for the people, where can they find you if they want to follow you on social media?
You can find me at DNJMS.
And you can find me at Tim Herb. I'm only on Instagram. Or you can find the show collectively at Home Before Dark. That's B and the number 4. Tell a friend. Tell a loved one. Have them come watch the show. We miss you guys. We love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, be home before dark.
Tim. Tim.
Not funny. Be home before dark.
Tim, have I ever talked to you about cocaine?
What are you talking about?
Miami. They do a lot of cocaine.
Okay. Gotcha. That movie Blow. Is it?
Yeah.
Bye, guys.